All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Peter Del Tondo, and I am here with today's Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. And I have to say, I am beyond excited about this one. Andrew and I were playing a game last night, and I modified today's challenge to be a little bit more like what we were doing. So we were playing Among Us last night, and it's been super fun. As you've heard me say in the last couple of streams, we play as a team over at Unfold every Friday morning, and we have a lot of fun with that game. And I thought it would just be fun and silly to kind of build that out, showcase components along the way, and give you an idea of how to put this stuff together and apply it to anything that you want to do. And I have said this before, we talked about this a little bit in last night's kind of after hours stream where we were doing portfolio, or not portfolio, challenge reviews. And I mentioned design things that you care about, that are fun to you, you're passionate about, and you can probably see the excitement in my face and hear it in my voice. This is like the favorite challenge that I have created for any Adobe DCC that I have ever taught. So I am really, really excited for this one. And yeah, Andrew and I had a blast last night. I think I just like full on took out 3 or 4 squads and won last night. It was a lot of fun. Andrew didn't get to be the imposter at all, but I did, and it was great. So if you are new and joining us, make sure to head on over here to behance.net/challenge/XD. And over here, this is going to give you the challenges every single day. Make sure you click this big button up here, take the challenge. It will remind you in your inbox on the daily, in your daily or in your Adobe app, Creative Cloud, to come in and participate in these challenges. They go on every day at the same time for the different programs that Adobe is showcasing. So each day you can come down here and click on Get Started, and that will give you the file. So today we're going to be talking about component states, and on a topic of your choosing, which I'm glad I left that open-ended because I changed my idea last minute. We are going to design a desktop form with input fields and buttons, and we're going to use component states, which we've touched on a little bit in some of these past challenges. But yeah, we're going to have fun with this. And yes, Andrew, he's like, don't get me. And I just walked up and took him out last night. It was pretty funny. And then we played Overcooked. It was just a good night of a little bit of gaming. So without further ado, let's also make sure you jump in and join us in community chat. If you head on over here, you will find us in the current challenge channels where most stuff is going to go on and take place here. So every night I hop on Behance about 7, 8, 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, and I'll go through and review the challenges that have been submitted here, give you some feedback, try to pick them apart a little bit, and give you some constructive criticism to help take those up to the next level, and then apply that knowledge into other things. So I really encourage you to join me on the stream. It's on my personal Behance, behance.net/Peter Del Tondo. And it's just really fun. You get to learn by seeing how we review other people's work as well as not just your own. And then we just kind of do like a open Q&A at the end and just talk about design stuff and whatnot. So have a lot of fun. All right, well, let's jump into this here today. And if you're not familiar, let me just take a look. So Among Us is this fun game. You can find it on Steam, or it's free on your phone. If anybody wants to play with us, let us know. You kind of run around and try to figure out who the imposter is on your ship. And so I've put this together here. I won't even actually, we'll cover this really quickly because this still gives some good information. But there's certain things that you need, kind of the basics of your design system. With buttons, you're going to want things like your active state, your hover state, your focused or press state. And I do want to cover something really quick because I was showing this to, I think, Laura last night on the stream. So in here, you see me, I'm up to the top. So you see this, I'm hitting tab. This is an accessibility thing, that this is what that focus state looks like. So it's something that for somebody that needs to go through and see exactly where things are, maybe there's some color blindness issues, that's an accessible state where we can go through and show that focus. Press is going to be if we click what that does. So if we notice there, when we hover, it gets darker. When I click, it gets even darker. So just to show a real world example of how that actually applies, that's the kind of stuff that we want to build out here in our design. And then when we get into input fields, we need same thing. We need a hover state, an active state, or a typing state. What does it look like if it's disabled, etc., and all these different things. So we're going to get into this, and we're going to show you some fun stuff, and we're actually going to recreate the UI of this here and build out a prototype animation that some of you, I think, are going to predict what is coming, because we've kind of been talking about it all week. And Joe, you did not go to sleep. I know it was 4:30 when you ended on the stream last night. So all right, I'm going to kind of skip ahead to some of the prototype here. And if you're not familiar with this game, what you do is you join some friends, you enter a code, and that allows you to start a game together. And there's a crew of people. One of them is an imposter, and while everyone else is trying to fix the ship and survive, they're all just out there trying to get back home. There's one or two or three imposters, and you've got to figure out who they are and vote them out, and then you just vent them out. So we're going to go through this here, and we're going to call an emergency meeting and see if we can't figure out who this imposter is going to be today. So let's start putting some of these things together. Now, there's a couple of key screens here. One other one being the voting stage. So here I've got some of my team members, and we're trying to figure out who the imposter is. So I want to create a couple of items, and I've got them here to show the finished states, but I'm going to show you kind of from scratch how we would go about creating these and easily coming up with these and how we kind of then manage it in our system. So I want to have a couple of different states here for this button. And it kind of, this in the app sort of functions as an input field and a button. It's kind of all in one. But we're going to go here and we're going to start creating these. So right here, I've got this group, and I want to have this start to turn into multiple options. So rather than maybe in the past you're used to creating an instance or another group of each one of these, we can control this really easily. And Joe knows what's up. We can create these really easily, and I'm going to go to my asset library, and I'm going to click on components, and I'll name this something different at the moment. We'll call this input button. Okay. And now I've got this, so I want to create an additional state. So over here on the right, I'm going to hit this plus button. I'm going to click on hover, and that's going to activate, and Adobe XD is smart enough to know now when that is a hover state. So anytime I hover over these components, it will activate that state. And so in here, I'm just going to reverse this out. I'm going to make that there, and then we'll darken it up here. So great, or excuse me, I just completely reversed it. Let's just do the text. Okay, so I now have my hover state, but I also need an input state. So I'm going to add one more, and I can call this input. And in here, maybe we will I'm going to remove this. We'll just do like a little type indicator. I'm going to make that white. And we're going to darken up or fill this section here. And so now, again, I've got another state. I can quickly cycle between all of these. And then I could do another one here for input. Well, actually, not for input, but like filled out. You can call these anything you want. And in this one, I'm just going to leave this. I would do like a rectangle or a shape, but for today's purposes, I'm just going to match what we have up here. It's a little easier to do it as text. All right, so now I can quickly cycle through all of these. I see everything that I need, and all I need to do now is manage this one component in my design system, and it's really, really simple to cycle between all of these. So really easy to manage. If I make a change in one place, it's going to update everywhere across the board, and again, be really, really easy to utilize. All right, so a couple more things that I want to do. I want to create, I've already recreated one of our crew members, and I want to set something up here where I can change the color of them really easily. So I may come in here, I'm going to say crew, and now I've got this default state, and I'm going to add another one, and we'll do like two colors here. We'll do pink, and we'll do yellow. All right, so I'm going to come in. I've got my yellow now. I'm going to go over to my layers. And inside this group here, I've got two layers in the background. If I go ahead and change these, I'm going to move these into yellow. I can now change that really easily. I'm going to come back. I'm going to select pink. I'm going to go through here again. And we will update those. We'll go with some unfold watermelon. And great. So I now have my default, this kind of light blue crew member. I've got a pink crew member, a yellow crew member, etc. And so I would just keep creating these for all of the different characters that I want to have as a part of my crew. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to swap this graphic out here. And I'm going to now move a copy of this in here. So that's now sitting inside. I've got some text that shows who I've got as a crew member. And there's a couple other things that I want to do because eventually I want to be able to have things like voting or not voting. I might even grab in other crew members and incorporate them into this if they've voted as well. So I'm just going to go hide these once again, and I'm going to go back to my components, create a component, and we'll call this voting. I've got my default state. Maybe when I hover over this, I want this to showcase the voting capability. Oops. Here we go. So turn those on. So I now see that. And then maybe if I want to make a selection of these, let's go back to our components. I'm going to add another one, and let's see. I could actually, in this, we'll do voted. And in here, I'm going to remove, or I'll hide these. And let me see if I can do this easily. So I'm going to, I'd have to tweak all of the strokes here to scale accordingly, but I'm going to keep it simple for the moment. And what I'm going to do is just shrink these down. I'll do one for yellow. And I'm just going to show that now crew has voted because they think that that imposter is blue. And so once again, I can cycle between my different states. Let me see why that. Layers, crew, let me hide you. Let me hide you. Oh, you know what? I don't think I embedded it all the way in. That's okay. We're gonna kind of skip ahead and we'll go over that. But we can see here my hover state. It's going to show that vote, and then afterwards I can show what it looks like, and I can set up those different voting blocks. So I could come up with any variation of, hey, I want to showcase when 2 people have voted for this person, 3, 4, 5, etc. Possibilities are endless. So what I want you all to understand from this is that you can utilize this to create components for any kind of thing. It could be active or hover states or disabled states of icons, buttons, input fields, kind of really limitless possibilities. There's a lot of cool stuff that you can create, and then it just makes it easier to work with and manage going forward. So let's take a look now at how we have put this together. And so you can see in my design that I have all of these completed, and it's allowing me to cycle really quickly where I can start with my inputs, I can then come in here. I've got my finished input. I've got all of my crew members set up, and I could quickly come in here if I wanted. Whoops, we'll go back. I can change these. I'd have to scale them down afterwards. But I've got that all set up. And so I'm going to start setting up how I want this to animate. And I've already done this because we are limited on time today, but I'm going to walk you through and explain how I prototyped this, why I did it, and then we're going to see what this looks like. So to start off, we're going to click on this. We've got our hover state. That's what it's showing here. But if I tap on this, I want it to move us into this next screen where I can then show the input field and prototype what that looks like. After I click on this, that is going to tap and move me over to this next screen. And this is going to be a little bit of a different feature that we haven't really showcased before. This is going to be a trigger where you're going to change this, where most often we utilize auto animate or just general taps. We are going to switch this to do keys and gamepad. And you can actually, if you've got a controller, I mean, I could use actually either of these. You can use a gamepad to do stuff. I mean, I think I've seen Howard and Andrea before where you can set this up and like move and control and aim and whatnot. It's really, really cool. But we are going to utilize this, and then we're going to hit the enter key to simulate that real experience, not just a tap. It's that little detail that makes this feel all the more realistic. It's not just a clickable prototype, but it feels like you're going to interact the way that you would normally play. And as I say that, I mean, we could very easily too go through and probably set up our entire flow here to where I can move my keys around or move the joystick around and actually interact with this. I could move the character and I could show a prototype of what that would look like too. So a lot of cool features and possibilities that you can utilize here. So take advantage of that and explore that a little bit more. So next, I've kind of got more title screens that I just want to show to kind of set the stage for what's about to happen. Something's been super sus, and I feel like we kind of know who's taking people out. And, maybe after that first person went down, the second round, we're going to call that emergency meeting because we're pretty sure, been acting pretty sus. We know who is the imposter on our crew. And so what we're going to do is we're going to set up some time delays, and we're not even going to do any kind of animation. When I had these set up initially with kind of the standard or default dissolves or ease in, ease out, it doesn't really feel natural unless it's really quick. So I actually just want to have this delay and then just do an instant switch, or you could have this delay further and then maybe do a little bit of an animation here and have it be really quick. So actually, let's do that. I'm going to speed this up. I'll modify these a little bit. So same thing. I want this to delay by 3 seconds. That's just going to let us absorb and take in the information. Could probably have this be a little bit longer, but for purposes of time here, we're going to have that be pretty quick moving. And then lastly, we are going to call this emergency meeting. So once again, I'm going to set up a quick dissolve, ease in, ease out. And I'm going to make that really quick. And I could probably bring that down to like 1/10 of a second, and that would work as well. So next, in this situation, I'm playing as Stian, not as Peter. So it's telling me that I am the imposter. We already know that on this end because that's been highlighted red. But what we're seeing here now is we've got our voting. We're going to vote out this imposter. And so because I, Stian, am trying to make other people think it's somebody else, I'm going to vote for Peter because, I want to try to like cause some loyalty questions here and whatnot. And we're just going to try to lay some blame on the other side. So I'm going to vote for Peter. But everyone else, I mean, Jordan's in here with his like detective Sherlock Holmes level sleuthing. He's just figuring something out. He knows something is up, and everybody's just, they feel it. They know it in their bones. All week, it's been pointing to Stian. And so we're coming down here, and we can next see that everybody on the squad has voted for Steon, except he has voted for me. And then we're gonna vent somebody. And what we're gonna do here is just to kind of show the layers of stuff. We've got our Steon crew member over here on the side, and we are literally just gonna twirl them out of the vent. And so you'll see a couple more things that are going to start to appear as we have that come over. So all of those layers are either off to the side where I want them to start, and then when we get over here, we can see that that character is moving over and off to the side, and that's kind of how we're going to go about. So let's take a look at this now, and let's start this transition from the beginning and take a look at this, and we'll run through this once or twice. So I'm going to come over. I'm going to check this out. Let's move this up here so everybody can see it. So I'm going to click on enter code. I can now tap one more time and actually enter. And we could probably set this up too as a keybind as well. So maybe I could hit the number 1 and that would activate this as well. But here I'm going to hit enter. This is going to hold for a couple of seconds and then we'll transition over. Hold for a few more seconds to simulate a game, and then boom, emergency meeting. Something's up, alarms are sounding, and yes, D, you can tell I really like this game. Again, everybody do projects that you're excited about and care about and have fun with. I'm clearly having a ton of fun with this one. Like I said, by far my favorite DCC challenge that we've worked on yet, and hopefully y'all can tell this is something that you put a little more heart and effort into, and so it's just really cool. All right, so now we've got that voting, and we've got to figure out, again, I'm currently in the simulation playing Estion, so I'm going to come over here and I'm going to vote for Peter, but everyone else, no, they knew, and that's it. We've got some time delays here, and Steon has been vented. We see Steon was the imposter, and we can start the next game. And then we could throw a victory screen in here or whatnot. So it's really cool. I mean, when we stop and think about this is where XD really blows me away, is that for all intents and purposes, we more or less just played a video game inside of here as a prototyping tool. And that's really, really wild to think that you can go through that. So let's take a look at this one more time. I'm going to walk through it. And again, here at the end, we're just doing more as we go to prototype mode. We're just getting into those time transitions where we want it to delay for a moment and then take a couple of seconds to go through. We're just spinning him around over the way. And Vic, we didn't kick you. He offed you. You were the first one to go, round 1. But we avenged you. We found him. We knew who it was, and we went through that. So again, here we're just doing another time transition, showing that spin as we go through a couple of times, and then vent them out. And so you could even simulate if you wanted to go a couple rounds in this game. You could do all of that. You just need more screens, more steps. But this has been really easy for us to modify because I could come in here now and I could easily switch out any of these things. If I want to change the color of folks, if I wanted to come in and go through the different states. Here we've got different presses as well. There's just a lot of stuff that we can utilize and quickly build out this prototype animation. So with the time we have left, let's go through this one more time. What do you mean you don't play with y'all? We are playing Friday for sure. All right, so we're gonna go through here. We're gonna enter our code. We're gonna hit enter on our keyboard. We'll go through a couple of title screens here. This is gonna show us a little simulated gameplay, emergency meeting. It's time to vote. I'm gonna try to lay the blame to somebody else here. Confirm that, but nope, everyone else knew. And that's it, Steon. Sorry, buddy. Better luck next time. But that's, hopefully you all had some fun with this too. So I'm gonna encourage you, figure out something that all of you are really excited about, that is of interest. If you want to build out a form for a game, a movie, a hobby that you're doing, find something that interests you and build that challenge around there. And then show me in your file that you upload to Behance or into Discord how you're utilizing the different components and building that out and kind of simplifying your workflow and speeding up your efficiency with everything. So a lot of fun with this challenge. Let's take a quick peek and see what we've got coming up next. So after this, stick around for Alice Lee and Deborah Lee for Doodle Therapy. And then we'll be back tomorrow again with another challenge here in XD, same time, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard, and we'll be doing these throughout the week as well. So make sure to tag me in Discord and upload your projects. I'll be back on this evening doing the streams or the after hour streams on my personal Behance, so give me a follow there. Behance.net/Peter Daltondo. Like, subscribe, I don't know, all the different things. I feel like I just have to go off with all these different things to say at the end of the streams. But anyways, hope you all had a fun time. If anybody wants to play this with us later, let us know. We might play a little bit this evening. And yeah, excited to see how you all turn something that you enjoy into a project for this challenge. Hope you all have a good day, good afternoon, good day, and we'll see you soon.